Well, we did it. We have hit 1,000 subscribers, so we're doing another giveaway to say thank you to all you guys that have helped us get to this point. We're going to be giving away the new Blood Angels Army set box. If you guys have already heard this, feel free to skip ahead, but if you haven't and you want to be entered into this giveaway, then here's how to do it. You will have to leave a comment on any video that we release between September 17th, 2024 at 12 p.m. Eastern Time and September 24th, 2024 at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time. The other way that you can enter is by subscribing to the channel between that same time frame. You can only enter once, and the entire giveaway from top to bottom is sponsored by me and me alone, has no affiliation with YouTube or any of its subsidiaries, and the winner will be selected at 12 a.m. on September 25th. There will be a giveaway announcement video posted within 1 week of the giveaway, which will include instructions for the winner on how to claim their prize and verify their authenticity, and the deadline to do so, and the information collected about the winner, which will just be their YouTube username that is publicly visible. It will only be used as a means of contact so that we can get you your prize. So thanks again so much, guys and gals, and good luck in the giveaway. Welcome, fellow 40k theorists, to another episode of Theory Hammer. I'm KevBot, you're watching Theory Hammer, that's the channel name, and today we're going to be diving into the orcs and some of their units, starting with the Stompa. This thing's hilarious, and I'm going to tell you why. So if you guys like these unit breakdowns, which I know you do, then Stompa all over the like button, the subscribe button, Nurgle's bell, leave us a comment, and check out the other videos we have as well. We also have a second channel, which is linked in the description. We're going to have Let's Plays, like podcasts, that kind of stuff, so if you want to check it out, it's linked down below. I'm not sure at the time of recording if anything's been posted there, but I can assure you, there will be. So if you like Warhammer discussions and things that are generally less formal, feel free to check it out. Alright, so we're going to start off as we usually do, and just simply take a look at this unit's datasheet. So, this thing moves 10 inches. It's toughness 14. That's right, 14. It's got a 2-up save, a 6-up invuln. It's got 30 wounds. It is leadership 6, and it's OC 12. So yeah, it's a pretty big boy. It's the big boy in town for sure. But honestly, like on its face, kind of underwhelming. I mean, most of the stuff that it has hits on 5s. It's 800 points. You know, it's not crazy when you just kind of look at it the first time. But thankfully, we're talking about the orcs, and the orcs has never beaten, you gits. We got all kinds of special bits we can put on it, and make it real orky, make it real killy, make it the shootiest. That was hard. Okay, so we're gonna first start by picking our detachment, which of course is going to be the Dread Mob. In this detachment, all of this thing's weapons gain either sustained hits, lethal hits, or critical hits are an extra +2 AP, and it's a D6 roll, so except it's orky, so you can choose one of those abilities instead. And if you do, you gain hazardous, which is also very orky, but if you end up being hazardous from 2 or more sources, you do fail the hazardous roll on a 1 or a 2. Now we also have some strats, and oh baby, there are 2 of them that will just rock your socks off, Morty. They are the bigger shells for bigger gits. You're gonna push this, and when you push it, you get +1 to wound, and you get +1 damage if you're shooting a monster or a vehicle. So yeah, then you have Daka, which you also push because of course you do. And if you push this, you get rerolls to hit. So all that sounds all good and stuff, but you still hit on 5s. But you guys knew this was coming. You're gonna take a mech. That mech is gonna give it +1 ballistic skill. So now it's hitting on 4s with full rerolls to hit, which is a 75% chance to hit. So why don't we take a look at its weapons real quick, now that we have Dumbo McNonsense up in the house here. It's got 3 big shootas, and that twin big shoota, but whatever. So 3 big shootas. In total, it's going to be 20 shots. That's 15 hits. They're all going to be +1 to wound monsters and vehicles, so you're likely wounding on 5s, but then they are all 2 damage. You have a Def Cannon, which is just a measly 3d6 shots, so it's an average of 11. You're going to get like 8 hits, you're +1 to wound vehicles and monsters, so you're wounding everything, actually except for itself. But you're wounding everything on 2s because it's strength 14, and it's going to be d6 +1 damage in this case. It's got a Super Gatla, 20 shots, around 18 hits because it already has sustained 1 and it's fully rerolling everything. It's going to be +1 to wound monsters and vehicles, so You're wounding on 4s most likely. AP1, 3 damage because of +1 damage. And then it also has super rockets, which are D6 shots, so it's like 4 or 3, but call it 4, you get 3 hits. You're +1 to wound monsters and vehicles, so you're wounding on 2s or 3s. It's AP3, it's D6 +3 damage now. So it's got some pretty good guns when it's rerolling everything hitting on 4s, and I didn't even really calculate in sustained or anything, so yeah. Brings up an interesting point though, which is that you can probably just roll it. Like, I don't think you need to choose what ability it's taking because it just does so much damage already. But let's just say you roll up that dice for its detachment rule and you get sustained hits. Let's take a look at what it can do against some hard targets, and if you notice anything wrong with the math, just let me know. So we'll start with the def cannon, because fine. Alright, so anything you're wounding on 3s, that's going to have a 4-up invuln, so, you know, the Avatar, or something like that, because you're +1 to wound, but it's -1 to wound, but anything that you're going to be wounding on 3s getting a 4-up invuln, you're going to be doing about 15 damage to. You're going to kill 2 to 3 models. If you're wounded on 3s and they're getting a 5-up invuln or a 5-up save, you'll do about 21 damage or kill 3 to 4 models. If you're wounding on 3s and they're getting a 6-up save, you're doing about 26 damage with this def cannon alone. Or you kill 3 to 5 models, just kind of depends on what you're shooting at. Now, once we go to wounding on 2s, something like a Land Raider, let's say, because we're +1 to wound, it's going to get a 3-up save because it's in cover and Armor of Contempt. We'll do about 13 damage to it. If we're shooting at something else like Terminators that are getting, 2-up with in cover and on Armor of Contempt and all that, you'll kill 2 to 3 of them with this, and not including Blast. If you're wounded on 2s and they're getting a 4-up, you'll do about 20 damage to the target, or kill 3 to 4 models. If they're getting a 5-up, you'll do around 26, kill about the same number of models. That'd be something like a Plague Burst Crawler. If you're wounding on 2s and they're getting a 6-up save, something like a Hammerhead in this case, you'll do about 33 damage to that Hammerhead, or you'll kill about 4 to 6 models. So pretty good damage on its def cannon alone. I mean, even at the minimum, it does 13 damage to a Land Raider. It'll do less damage to an Avatar, much less damage to an Avatar, because it'll be halving the damage and -1 to wound and all that stuff. But yeah, doing 13 with one weapon to a Land Raider in cover with Armor Contempt seems pretty good to me. Let's take a look at the Super Rockets next. So if you're wounding on 3s and they're getting a 3-up save for some reason, you'll kill about 1 guy, do about 5 damage, nothing crazy there. If you are wounding on 3s and they're getting a 4-up save, so maybe like a Land Raider or something like that, do about 8 damage, kill about 1 model. And again, this is not including Blast. But if you're wounding on 3s, they're getting a 5-up save, it's going to kill about 1 to 2 models, it'll do about 10 damage, and if they're getting a 6-up save, do about 13 damage and kill about 2 models there. If this thing's wounding on 2s and you're getting a 3-up save, so like a Land Raider, I guess, would actually be this one, because of Armor, Contempt, and Cover, you'll do about 6 damage to the Land Raider, or you'll kill about 1 guy. If they're getting a 4-up save, though, you'll do about 10 damage, kill 2 dudes. If they're getting a 5-up, you'll do about 13 damage, kill 2 dudes. If they're getting a 6-up, you'll do about 16 damage, and kill 2 to 3 guys. It just depends. We're not accounting for Blast, remember. We do then have the Super Gatler, and this has a bunch of different stuff as well, because it is Strength 7, so it's going to be wounding on 4s against, anything that's toughness 8 or higher. So, a little bit more to go over here, but if it's wounding on 4s and the opponent is getting a 2-up save, so, they're in cover because it is AP1. So if you're getting a 2-up save, this will do about 5 damage to you total, which is not great. So this would be something like a Land Raider, because I'm +1 to wound, so I'm wounding it on 4s, and it's got a 2-up save and it's in cover and all that stuff, so 5 damage to the Land Raider, or 1 model if it needs 4s to wound and has a 2-up save. Not sure what that would be in a unit form. But if we're talking some kind of regular tank, so something that's in cover, you'll do about 10 damage to it, or you'll kill 2 to 3 guys, depending on what you're shooting at there. If they're getting a 4-up save, though, you'll do about 15 damage, so some kind of Dark Eldar tank in that example there, or kill 3 to 5 models. If they're getting a 5-up save, so like a Dark Eldar tank outside of cover, I guess, you'll do about 20 damage to it, or if it's a unit, you'll kill 3 to 6 models there. Once you start wounding on 3s, you'll do about 7 damage to something that has a 2-up armor save, something like Paragon Warsuits, Centurion, something that's like toughness 7, because now I'm wounding it on 3s. Or you'll kill, 1 to 2 models, depending on if it's like a Terminator squad or something, which it wouldn't be, because then you'd be wounding it on 2s, but you get the idea. If you are getting a 3-up save, you'll do about 13 damage, or you'll kill, 2 to 4 models. So, something like scout sentinels that are in cover, I guess, something like that. If you're getting a 4-up save, they'll do about 20 damage, or kill 3 to 6 models, just depending. So this would be something like piranhas, Votan bikers, something like that. If you're getting a 5-up save, this thing will do about 27 damage, or kill, 4 to 9 models, because it is 3 damage, so it doesn't, it depends what you're shooting at, but I can't really think of anything off the top of my head that you would be wounding on 3s that would then get a 3-up save, just considering cover and stuff, but I'm sure it exists. I just can't think of it. I'm not going to bother doing a 6-up against this because it is only AP 1, so even if you have a 6-up save and you're in cover, you're still going to get a 6-up there, but it's just like, I don't really feel like going over that. So if you're winning on 2s though, and you're getting a 2-up save, so this be like, broadsides, Terminator, something like that, you're going to do about 8 damage to a broadside, but you'll kill about 1 to 2 models. If you shoot at something like battle suits, so you're hitting on, or winning on 2s, or getting a 3-up save, you'll do about 17 damage, or you'll kill about 2 to 3 models there. If you're wounded on 2s and they're getting a 4-up save, you're looking at about 25 damage from this thing, killing about 4 to 8 models. Not sure of some sort of vehicle to shoot at off the top of my head, like what you'd be wounding on 2s. A unit even is kind of weird, but Wolfen, we'll say Wolfen, they have a 4-up save and they're toughness 4, so you wound them on 2s and they get a 4-up save. And then if you're getting a 5-up save against this, so I don't know. Admech infiltrators outside of cover, like I'm not really even sure. Anything with a 5-up invuln, I guess, but gonna do about 33 damage, even though there is no single target. I don't think that you'd be wounding on 2s doing this much damage to, but you'll kill about 5 to 11 models, just depending on whether there are 2 to 3 wounds there. We do then have one more weapon here, which is of course our big shootas, and I'm just gonna roll this all together because it has 3 regulars and 1 twin linked. This is also a little long. If they're winning on 5s, you're likely getting a 2-up save with Terminators and stuff, or maybe you're just shooting a Land Raider. You'll do about 3 damage, or you'll kill, you'll do like 1 wound to a model. That's it. Very, very little damage there. If you're getting a 3-up save, do about 5 damage, maybe kill 1 model. So this would be shooting like a Hammerhead or something, you do about 5 damage. If you're getting a 4-up save, you do about 8 damage, or you still kill about 1 model, and that would be something like a Tantalus. If you're winning on 4s, and then they're getting a 2-up save, you'll do about 4 damage, or about 2 wounds to a single model, so like Paragon Warsuits or something like that. If they're getting a 3-up save and you're wounding on 4s, you will do about 8 damage, or kill 1 to 2 models, so they have Piranhas in cover, aggressors, something along those lines. If you're getting a 4-up save, you'll do about 11 damage, you'll kill about 2 to 3 models, so Piranhas outside of cover, like Votan bikers, or something along those lines, that are outside of cover as well. If you're wounded on 3s, and they're getting a 2-up save, you'll do, again, about 5 damage, or maybe 2 wounds or so to a single model. I'm not sure what that would be, but it could also apply to something like Terminators here. If they're getting a 3-up save and you're also wounding on 3s, you'll do about 9 damage to a vehicle, or you'll kill 1 to 2 models, so something like battle suits. I guess like Havocs would be another, like a unit you could be shooting at in this example. If you're getting a 4-up save though, I have no idea what models you're shooting at, but you do about 14 damage, or kill 1 to 2 models. And then if you're wounding on 2s, you will do about 6 damage to something with a 2-up save. You'll do about, or kill about 1 guy. You'll do about 12 damage to something with a 3-up save, or you'll kill 2 to 3 guys. And so that'd be like regular Marines, and if they have a 2-up save, call them like Grey Knights. But then if you're shooting something like Guardsmen, or some other kind of thing you'd be wounding on 2s, and it would be getting a 4-up save, you'll do 17 damage, or kill 2 to 8 models, call it, just depends how many wounds they have. That is not all that it can do though. It also has combat, and it's got some good combat. If this thing strikes something, so some sort of big target, like a Knight, Land Raider, Avatar, whatever. If it's wounding on 3s for some reason, so something like an Avatar, or something that you're just -1 to wound, it'll do 17 damage to it if you're getting a 4-up invuln. Because its melee weapon is 6 attacks, strength 24, AP 5, and 10 fucking damage. Or, it's 18 attacks, strength 10, AP 2, and 3 damage. So yeah, you're getting an invuln against this, and that's it. So if you're wounding something on 3s and they get a 5-up invuln, you do 22 damage to that target still. If they're getting a 6-up invuln, you'll do 28. And these numbers are all rounded, just so that you guys know. If you're wounding something on 2s, so a Land Raider or something that has a 4-up invuln in this case, you'll still do 21 damage to it. If it has a 5-up invuln, you'll do about 28. If it has a 6-up invuln, you'll do 35. If you want to sweep with this thing, and you're wounding on 3s and they're getting a 3-up save because they have Armor of Contempt, you'll still kill like 3 Terminators there, which admittedly isn't great, but you'll still kill 3 Terminators there. If you sweep and they get a 4-up save and you're wounding on 3s, you'll still kill about 5 guys. If they get a 5-up save, you'll kill 6 to 7. If they get a 6-up save, you'll kill around 8. If you're wounding on 2s, they're getting a 3-up save, you'll kill about 5. If they get a 4-up save, you kill 7 to 8. If they get a 5-up save, you're looking at around 10. And then if they get a 6-up save, you're looking at about 12 to 13. And so overall, this thing can pretty much kill anything in the game. Does 29 damage to a Land Raider on average. Does like 13 wounds to the Avatar and then another 9 in combat on average. It'll do like 16 or 17 to Magnus, like just enough to kill him, like counting the blanking and the rerolls and the Cabal dice and the command points and all that shit. It'll kill like 9 Terminators in the shooting phase and then kill like 5 more in combat, like not in counting for blast, I don't think. But we are talking about an 800 point unit after all, so it should be one-shotting pretty much anything in the game. Now, this thing does come with some durability, mainly in the fact that it's fucking toughness 14. This means that almost, like most anti-tank weapons, are wounding it on 5s. So unless you have +1 to wound or rerolls, which is becoming more common the more like books come out and the more releases there are, but it also has 30 wounds. So against true anti-tank, this thing is still hard to take down because it has a 2-up save and it got 30 wounds. Something like railguns will probably do a number to it for sure, or anything similar, like maybe fire prisms or lancers or something. Although they do wounds it on 4s, don't they? But I'm not going to do what I normally do and show you how many shots it takes to kill, except for a couple of things, like to give you just some kind of idea. It takes like 82 las cannons to kill it. Takes like 40 Melta shots in Melta range. And remember that if you don't kill it, it does repair a little bit with the mech, but not a huge amount, but it does repair some wounds there. And so overall, this unit is really not that tricky. It's quite the opposite. It's very orky and straightforward. You put a few buffs on it to kind of just take it to the extreme, but it's not hard to predict or anything. But that doesn't mean that it's not hard to deal with. Like some armies can deal with one, others just can't. And I guess I did lie a little bit. There is a little bit more than meets the eye, because this thing is also a transport, and that adds a little bit of a new layer of threat to it, because it's not just a big stompy robot coming to crump you, it's a big stompy robot coming to crump you, and it's bringing dudes along that can do their own work. It makes it even more threatening, because now it has the potential to like drop off Gazgul and friends like smack dab in the middle of the table, or wherever they may be needed, and hilariously, this thing also has a 2d6 explodes, which is an average of 7 mortal wounds to everything around it. My god, if there was a way to auto-detonate this thing, that would be so funny. But you could put Gaz in the unit inside, and then this thing becomes like the mainstay of your army. It already was at 800 points, but Gaz and his unit of 3 little guys is 355 points. So this thing with him and his unit, it's 1155 points to your army. Take a mech, and it's now exactly 1200 points. I don't even know what you take at that point, but it's like, alright, the Stompa lives for turn 1 because it can hide. It can then walk over sections of ruins 4 inches or less, so while other walls will slow it down, smaller ones will not. It moves up, it touches terrain, now it sees through, it blows up 2 or 3 of your tanks, just depending on line of sight. You dump everything into it, and you don't kill it. It repairs, and blows up 2 to 3 more of your things. Gaz and his friends get out, they charge something, or if you really want to, you can use super fueled boilers to give it assault with its guns, so you can just log turn 1 and just make sure it gets into combat, or turn 2. And so, is it good? I mean, kinda, yeah. When we put it all together, it's 800 points, plus a mech, plus 2 strats. It's a lot of eggs in one basket. It's either gonna hit an army, it just annihilates, or it's going to hit an army that just annihilates it. There's probably not a lot of in between here, and I mean, we're talking 100 points. If you can take that out in one turn, you probably just win. It's such a significant part of your army, and it takes up so many points. When you can just lose it all at once, you're playing with fire there, and there's just not much more nuance to it. It'll either win you the game, or it'll lose you the game. The end. But then again, it can be unstoppable for certain armies, and in those scenarios, it's great. But if we're evaluating it as a whole, it's funny, it does a ton of damage, but it's not OP. I encourage all of you orc players out there to try this thing out simply to see what it can do. You will get a laugh out of it, I promise you. It's just so ridiculous. It's so big. It just gets in the way. It takes up... You can just block off entire areas of the table with it and just put it somewhere and be like, you can't kill it? I guess it just kills you. And it just stomps around killing shit with its guns and its combat, dumping guys out. It's a lot of fun. And so that's going to do it for the breakdown of the Stompa. If I missed any cool tricks or strats or whatever, let me know down below. Stompa all over that like and subscribe button. Hit Nurgle's bell. Check out our other videos as well. You guys are the best. Make sure to be entered into the giveaway by subbing and liking our videos. And I'll catch you runts in the next video.